In this example, let's look at how we can lower the administrative distance of that EIGRP externally learned route, so that way their EIGRP is preferred over OSPF. When we look at this example, we are using an access control list. Why? Because we need to identify what we are trying to modify in this particular case. And in this example, since R4 is performing the redistribution, it is sending the 10.140.5060.70/24 networks into the EIGRP domain. What we want to do is we want to affect the administrative distance for all of these. So if you look here at our access control list, it's defining a range, and that range is from 10.140 through 10.117.255. So we have identified or classified all 4 of those routes. We then use the distance command, and the distance command allows us to modify the administrative distance. So in this example, the modification is to change the administrative distance for EIGRP routes to 100. So these are EIGRP learned routes. And we're going to change them to 100, but which ones are we going to change? We're going to change the ones that we learn about from our neighbor at this address. So who has this particular address? It's R2, R2 172.16.20.2. That's R2's address on its interface. So when R2 advertises us these routes, they have an administrative distance of 170. What we're saying now is that when we learn about these routes from R2, we want to change them to 100. And you'll notice that we also included in our example the wildcard mask. So we're specifically stating this neighbor specifically, not a range of neighbors or a group of neighbors. No, this one specifically. And what routes are we changing? Are we changing all of them? Are we changing some of them? Well, we don't want to change all of them because we don't want this particular network that R2 is advertising us to be changed as well, right? We want to make sure that it's just those routes of 10.140.50.60 and 70. So this is where we attach the ACL, the access control list, to the distance command. So this distance command states that any route from 10.140 through 10.117.255 that is learned from 172.16.20.2, we will change the administrative distance to 100. So now that the administrative distance is changed to 100, what does R1 see now? Let's go to R1. Let's type in up here what we had before. If we recall, our OSPF entry was 10.1.4.0/24. It was via R3, and it had an AD of 110. Now, our EIGRP route would say 10.1.4.0/24 via R2 AD 100. So now that the administrative distance is lower for the EIGRP learned route on R1, R1 is now going to use this path to get to those networks. So you can see how administrative distance through the redistribution process ended up causing suboptimal path selection. However, by modifying the administrative distance, we could overcome this problem and ensure that the optimal path, according to us as administrators, was the path that was ultimately being used.